Hello YouTube and welcome back to Fire Gaming Project. This is my second attempt at recording this because the first one for some reason didn't record on stream. Okay, so anyway, so this video will be talking about the currently announced Phase 2 banners, which we already knew in advance already, but it's official now who the 4 stars are at least. So we will be getting Ayaka, Shenhe, Diona, and Sucrose, and of course the debut of Mika coming for version 3.5 Phase 2 banners in a few days. So let's just get to it. This will be quick because these characters are not new except for Mika. Alright, so Ayaka is a very solid cryo DPS sword character. She is currently very useful in the current 3.5 version of the Spiral Abyss because there are a few floors that have the Hydro Mimics. She's also very useful for the Hydro Mimic areas of the Vibro Crystal verification event that's currently ongoing still. So that's obviously Hoyoverse trying to push her out and push the sale of her. Of course, she's not even available yet for sale, technically. But the Spiral Abyss and the Vibro Crystal verification event will still be out once her banner drops. So yeah, she's one of the most solid characters and one of the most popular characters. And we saw her in the previous patch 3.4 in that event where, you know, she got her costume, right? Which I don't have. But yeah, so anyway, she's a solid character and definitely she is worth pulling for and having to your team because she is basically one of the best cryo DPS focused characters in the game. And she has, you know, her dash. This is very useful because it applies cryo very easily, especially for Hydro Mimics and for the Hydro Lector. So yeah. Next, we have Shenhe. This is her first time getting a rerun. I did get her, of course, when she first debuted last year, or over a year ago. Many players are waiting for her to come, and it's great that she's coming now, finally. She definitely will buff significantly your Ayaka and your Ganyu and other cryo damage dealers, so that is a good thing. The bad thing is, obviously, she's a 5-star character, so it's locked behind being a 5-star. She's a very premium support character for cryo, whereas, as we've seen with other characters' situations, like Goro being a 4-star character for buffing Geo, Kujosara, a 4-star character for buffing Anemo, right? And Faruzan, a 4-star character for buffing Anemo. But, sorry, I said Anemo twice. I mean, Kujosara for buffing Electro. There we go. But anyway, my point is, yeah, Shenhe, she is kind of a premium character in that way. She can be a DPS, however, she's mostly meant for support. I mean, she has your typical, you know, standard, like, polearm usage, but then overall she doesn't do anything that's much more significant than any other cryo or polearm character in the game, really. But she's a nice to have. I don't regret having her, but I will say that, to be very honest with you, I don't really use her. But for those of you who are trying to get her, good luck to you, and I wish you all the best. She definitely will make your cryo teams much stronger, though, if you do have her. Okay, moving along, Diona. Now, she's one of the earliest characters that got released. I think she got released with Lyra way back when. I don't think that she's seen much play nowadays in the Abyss, but she definitely still has her use. She's definitely a great healer. She can apply cryo, and she has a shield. And her shield is still within the top 5 strongest shields in the game. Definitely not as strong as Zhongli's, but she's up there, like 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place, depending on where you place your Layla and your Toma now, right? And how you stack them, right? But yeah, she's definitely still there. I would say that she has less usage, but she has lots of utility because she can shield, she does her healing, and it's overall nice to have, but many people are not playing her anymore. Last but not least is Sucrose, and then we'll talk about Mika. Sucrose, she definitely doesn't see as much usage anymore. She's still used in the international team and or the national team. She is definitely still good for those of you who skipped on Venti and Kazuha. She still has the crowd control aspect, albeit less so than them. Of course, they have stronger crowd control abilities. But she is still a very solid swirler for Animal, of course, and crowd control. But her crowd control is very minimal compared to the other 2 5-stars. But, you know, she's a 4-star character, and she still can be a good support to have in your teams. So overall, I don't think that many people still use her, but can use her. If you remember, in the Abyss, you need 2 teams, so she can still come in useful. But for those of you who don't have either or of Venti or Kazuha, then she would be a great fill-in for the opposite side of the Abyss that you need her for. So that's still a good option to have. Okay, and last but not least, which we don't have a character for, of course, yet, Mika. So he'll be debuting. He will be a 4-star physical support character. he will use a pole arm, and he has some healing, I believe, and maybe some buffing for physical, right? So right now the only physical characters that you can really have is Eula, which is not rerunning, which is why everyone is questioning why she didn't rerun this patch. But anyway, everyone's waiting for her to rerun, so it'd be nice to pick up Mika for those of you who plan to main or already main Eula. And in addition, I don't think that he's going to do that much cryo application because he's mostly focused on physical. He has a minor cryo application, just like Eula. She has very little, like she's affiliated with cryo, but she has very little cryo application, right? So it's a similar scenario there. In terms of healing, I don't think that he's going to be like a super great healer or a big damage dealer either. He's again just a pure support for physical. The other characters that he can benefit would be like a physical usage Razor. Like you can split him like physical and electro, right? Or physical Kaching in some cases. Some people do still do that, right? For those of you who, because Dendro is still very new, right? We may not all have Dendro like pieces for our artifacts, Dendro damage goblet, I believe. So then sometimes people might put a physical goblet there instead of like attack percentage, and that's okay, right? And so some characters can have physical like split scaling, right? Like I can see that for like an Alhaitham situation, if you don't have a Dendro damage goblet, right? Then you might not put an attack percentage there. You might not. You might put like, you know, an elemental mastery or maybe a physical damage, right? Because he swipes with his sword a lot and he has to be on field, right? So there are those things to consider. But yeah, Mika could be a solid pickup. I will try to pick up one copy of him during the next phase. I haven't wished at all. For those of you who have been following me, I haven't wished at all for this. I skipped all the banners recently, as you can see. I have not made any wishes since the debut of 3.5. So I will throw some wishes at the banner and try to get one Mika just to add to my roster. I don't expect to use him much after, but I would like to get one copy of him. Yeah. So those are my thoughts for 3.5 Phase 2. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you're planning to get any of these characters, or if you're planning to skip them all together and wait for 3.6, where we will be getting Baiju and Kave's debut, whether in Phase 1 or Phase 2. More to come on that officially when Hoyoverse does their preview live stream event sometime in about over a week from now, because Phase 2 will launch in a few days, and then usually it's like the whole week and a half later after that before we get the live stream preview event for the next patch. So maybe about 2 weeks or so. So anyway, we'll see you in the next video where I'll be talking about the weapon banner for Phase 2 as well. So stay tuned for more from me. Thanks.